Deciding to fire an employee is never easy, but there are clear signs that can indicate it is necessary for the health of your team and your organization that this employee needs to go find employment elsewhere. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Barika from Simply Unique Coaching, and I have been leading since 1997, and I've led more than 18 teams, and I am here to teach you some of the things that I've learned when it comes to working with teams and building teams that can actually get the job done. In this video, I'm going to talk about 10 different times when you may want to consider having to release an employee, having to fire an employee, having to terminate someone's employment. And the way that I kind of think of this is basically, I need to help this person find their happy place. If their happy place is not here and on this team, then let me help release them back into the world so that they can find a place where they're going to shine. So let's break it down. Number 10, consistent poor performance. If you have an employee that is consistently performing beneath the bar, beneath the level that you need them to perform, and you tried to work with them, you provided training, you provided support, you've done the things for them that they need in order to be successful, and they still just aren't getting it, then that is a time when you may have to actually let an employee go. Number 9, employees with negative attitudes. Now, here's the caveat with this. I like to say it depends on the situation. Has this been a good employee that's now starting to perform poorly, or is this an employee that's going through a life situation that you think that with your mentorship and your support and your leadership, you can help kind of nudge them in the right direction? Or is it somebody who seems to be stuck in their ways and they just seem like they may not ever change? There is a difference. So you need to figure out what the difference is and try to work with them enough to be able to discern what that difference is. So you know, hey, if this is somebody who's digging in their heels and their negativity, this is not the best place for them. Number 8, lack of accountability. This is the big thing for me, not taking ownership of your actions. Even as a leader, I believe that I must take ownership of my actions, both good and bad. And so I expect for my team members to do it as well. And if you have an employee who is just not willing to take accountability for their actions, that is somebody that's going to cause you problems long term. So you need to take that into consideration. Number 7, frequent absences. If they aren't there to get the job done, then like, what are we doing? And I know people in this new generation kind of think that it's not a give and take. And for me, as a leader, I look like it should be a win-win. Yeah. The organization should win and the employee should win. So it should be a mutually beneficial situation. It shouldn't be where one is feeling like they're getting over on the other, on either side. And so when it comes down to employees who are trying to take advantage of, absences or policies and stuff like that, or if it's an employee who just frankly is just not showing the interest in being there, then let me help you find your happy place. That's kind of how I feel about it. Insubordination. I have a whole video about this. I'm going to link that here. And insubordination is just refusal to follow directions. You cannot run an effective organization with people who are deciding that they are not on your team. That's crazy. You're like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, and don't let them do that to your team. Because you have 10 people going in one direction and have that one person deciding they're not going to do it and they're going to make it difficult for everyone else. Absolutely not. You don't have to tolerate that. Number 5, gossiping and creating drama. Listen, I don't tolerate this. This is something I really don't tolerate. The workplace should be a place where everyone is bringing their best to the table. You're bringing your best as a leader. You're hiring the best employees so that they can help bring their best to the organization, and where everyone has a common goal. And gossiping, talking about other people, whether it's customers or whether it's about other employees or whether it's about leadership, that's going to lead to a toxic work environment. Also drama. Like, people want peace in their work environment. They want safety. They don't want to feel like, and some people feed into that. You need to be very discerning on, is this a person who likes to stir them hot and likes to keep things going? And if so, they need to maybe find employment elsewhere. At least for my team, they're going to be finding employment elsewhere. You can do what you want for your team. Number 4, a decline in productivity. So let's say that this person was one time a hot shot, they were getting it done, and all of a sudden things are happening. Again, it comes back to, is something going on? And if you think you can work through it with this employee, definitely be a good human and try to work with them through the situation. However, if you feel like this is something that's not going to get better, or they're just so distracted that it's going to hurt the organization and the other people in the long run, then you have to do what's right for the team and for the company. Number 3, resistance to change. Now, this is one of those things where, of course, people can give their feedback on something they don't like. Shoot, there's stuff updating stuff on my computers and on my devices all the time, and I'm like, not the biggest fan of it. But when it's somebody who is going to hinder progress because they're so stuck in their ways and so stuck on things having been a certain way in the past or the way that things currently are, they're not willing to change. And if the change is a good change, a necessary change, then they may need to find employment elsewhere as well. Number two, poor teamwork. This is a big deal. If they are somebody who cannot get along with the other people on the team, that is a big sign. That's going to cause you headache. That's going to cause your team headaches. You might even lose your good people trying to keep somebody who's like mediocre or low performing. And so, if that's the case, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your team members. If you are a person who strives to work in excellence, you also want to surround yourself with people of excellence. And if somebody is just not a person of excellence, if they are going to cause problems on your team and for your team members or for you on a consistent basis, then this is probably not the best fit for them and for your organization. Number one, this is a big one, ethical violation. They're doing some sketchy stuff. So you want to be very, very, very careful about that because that is something huge that can get you into a lot of trouble. That can get you into trouble. That can get your organization into trouble, especially if you know about it as a leader and you don't address it. Then that's like you're co-signing on it. And you don't want to co-sign on somebody being unethical because that is how you get those organizations or even countries where corruption is huge because the people at the top, when they see it, when they know it, they don't nip it out and get rid of it. They allow it to go on. Is there anything that I left off this list? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you are looking for a way to know how to hire the right people so you don't have to deal with any of this stuff, I want you to watch this video next. And as a caveat, I'm not going to say that you must fire these people. I'm going to think for me and the organizations I work for, if I know it's going to be a long-term issue where it's going to hurt the company and the other team members more than it's going to benefit them for this person to stay on. As soon as I recognize that, and I will try to work with anybody, I will definitely try to work with them, especially if they're trying. But if I see that it's going to be a situation where it's just not going to work out, I'd rather let them know as early as possible. If they've been a good person, maybe even give them some guidance as to where they might be able to find success, or even if I have some connections where they might be able to be a better fit, being able to feed that over to those other individuals. But I just am not going to allow somebody to struggle unnecessarily. It's not fair to them. They're not going to feel good about it. You're not going to feel good about it. Your team's not going to feel good about it. And you don't want one person dragging down the whole entire team when you have a team of excellent people and great people, because otherwise you can affect your positive people and your hardworking people in a negative way if you don't address these kinds of behaviors.